I'm Chris Bing with Cyberscoop TV. Today we are at Lookout HQ in beautiful San Francisco, and I'm speaking with Max and Andrew about cyber attacks aimed at mobile devices. The company has done some incredible research as it pertains to cyber attacks on Apple devices, on iPhone, and today we'll be talking about a few of those. Max, the company recently did some research about Pegasus, advanced spyware aimed at human rights activists in Saudi Arabia. What did you find, and what was unique about this specific incident?
Well, we was really surprised when we get a sample that the attack is so advanced, as it used 30 days to completely compromise a device and install espionage software to intercept the user data. So I think it was the first remote jailbreak in a while that we've seen for the last 5 years. That surprised us a lot.
Andrew, what type of actor has these capabilities to deploy spyware in this nature? What type of training or expertise is necessary to build this malware?
Yeah, so typically with the type of malware that we're seeing with like Pegasus, we basically very well-funded organizations or companies that have the ability to, and technical ability to develop, as Max has mentioned, zero-day jailbreaks, advanced rooting of a device, and then the ability to also install the espionage software on there. So, typically you'll find a well-funded organization that has the money to either develop these things in-house or the ability to go onto the black market and buy these in kind of the different programs that are offering to buy them from researchers and then resell them back out as well. So we see those happening. So you have to have a lot of capital in order to do this sort of stuff, because at least in terms of Pegasus, the nature and the advanced ability of this malware shows that it's very well engineered and it has the ability to get into the device, and because it's using these 0 days, it sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No worries. It's okay.
Start again.
Whenever you're ready, we're just
yeah.
going.
Okay. So so basically these companies are using they're well funded because they have to either internally develop these use vulnerabilities to develop exploits for them to jailbreak a device or root a phone, and they need the funding to either buy the researchers to come work for them in order to build them, or they need the money in order to go buy the exploits on the black market that's there as well.
Max, how prominent are these type of spyware attacks? Is it something that occurs all the time? Is it fairly rare? We spoke about the type of expertise that's necessary. What have you found?
Well, we found that it's pretty good engineered, and my experience is these attacks are really rare because they rely on jailbreak chain, and jailbreaks are pretty rare for the top versions of iOS, as well as malware, basic espionage software that's really highly engineered as well to stay hidden and make sure that other application cannot detect it, and user will not detect any strange behavior of device, like huge network traffic or running out of memory, running out of disk space. So they're trying to hide and look like a system services.
So Max, once the company found this exploit, how did you guys contact Apple, and what was the process like to ultimately get this patched?
Well, basically we make our own initial technical analysis to make sure before we contact Apple that it is a spyware or it have a 0 day. So we take a week to make our own analysis. Then we found it is actually 0 days. It is still working on the latest versions of iOS. And we make a little report and basically contact with Apple security team, schedule a call with them and say, okay, we found this, and this. We believe the vulnerability is in that and that model. And yeah, here are the samples. So Apple respond us really quickly, say, okay, so please just send everything you have.
Andrew, what type of actors or organizations would be interested in acquiring this type of capability, like the Pegasus exploit? Why would this be used?
Yeah, so there's a number of different reasons why you'll find this stuff being used. There's a concept of what's known as lawful intercept, where a lot of these products and companies exist basically in this area where they may sell them to governments, they may sell them to organizations that are using them quote unquote for a lawful intercept potentially. But then obviously some of that stuff can be misused as well out in the wild when you sell it to other individuals. So the end goal is basically to be able to get into a device, to be able to listen, record, and just monitor the communications that are coming out, whether it's voice, data, any sort of app information and things, where you're talking to, where you're going, what sites you're visiting, how your messages are coming in, and things like that. Yeah, so there's a large number of reasons why it would be used.
In the future, do you think we'll see more of these attacks? Will it continue to be spyware? What type of applications or specific threat vectors will be more common in the future?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely continue to see these happen in the future, right? There's, publicly we see a lot of different exploits being used for things like public jailbreaks and things like that. So that's just kind of the surface that's out there. So there's probably several private ones that exist as well, which, companies like the ones we discovered were using these, against people in the wild were using as well. So they have the same access to this sorts of ability to create these jailbreaks from these vulnerabilities. And kind of what we're seeing is kind of a migration from, well, traditionally we've noticed malware to be like app-based, right? Like you downloaded a malicious app from the store for a third-party marketplace, or someone sent you a link. And those are still true, and those still happen a lot. Kind of how Max said is, though, a lot of these packages and the software, they want to be able to get on your phone with almost zero detection as possible. So like leaving an app behind is a clear indicator of that something is on that may be easy to identify. So as these things evolve and as they exist now, they're basically trying to be as quiet and as silent as possible to avoid detection as well. So they'll look more for abilities like being able to click on a link and exploit your web browser and then install it stuff without having to go through any ability to get an application itself. So like the device-based threat level there. We'll continue to see those things. Things like stage fright and stuff that were very popular just by sending SMSs of links to exploit processes that are running that handle media files and stuff like that. Are advantageous to these types of groups in order to deliver their payloads, which in this case was the espionage software.
So obviously Lookout is on the defensive side. The exploit market has changed vastly even over the last year. What have you guys seen in terms of prices or accessibility for some of these mobile-specific malware attacks? Does anything stand out?
We see that now vendors trying to compete with the dark market. Especially Apple introduced their own bug bounty program at the end of last year. So things going better for sure on iOS because there is a competition, and now even security researchers now they have a decision to go like a good way and just give their bugs or 0 days to Apple. We think this market will grow more this year, as we see there is more and more 0 days around, especially for mobile, like for iOS. Yeah. I think last 6 months we have 3 jailbreaks. Yeah, three jailbreaks. So we're pretty sure there is more. There is more like private jailbreaks, and yeah, so we always will have work to hunt them.
And I think you're seeing obviously the Zerodium is like the big one that gets talked about a lot. Like they increased their bounty for that remote jailbreak ability, so it's very people are willing to pay a lot of money for those as well out there. So that's when, as Max saying, like you're starting to see the bug bounty start to catch up, right? Google actually offers a lot of money as well for stuff that's on the Android platform, and Apple has offered a lot of money as well for specific types of exploits and vulnerabilities that researchers are finding as well. So it's providing a place for researchers to sell their stuff, kind of like the white hat approach, where you can sell it to the company, let them fix it before it becomes an issue. So it's good to have that option in terms of the bug bounties that are out there.
Well, Andrew, Max, thanks so much for chatting with me today, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.